So, hello. My name is Amparo, and I would like to welcome you to the session, Supporting Customers with Actionable Insights by Michaela. Michaela is the Vice President of Community Colleges for Salesforce. As someone who has used Salesforce for almost 10 years in the nonprofit sector, I'm so excited for you to learn more about this company and the tool. If you have any questions during the session, go ahead and type them into the chat. We'll do our very best to respond in the chat. But if we can't get to all your questions, we'll note them and follow up after the event. Now let's welcome our speaker, Michaela.
Thank you, Amparo. I appreciate that. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. I appreciate it after a long week. Again, Michaela Mezo. I'm the VP of Community Colleges here at Salesforce. And despite the fact that I have the Bay and the Golden Gate Bridge in the back of me, I actually live in Salt Lake City, Utah, but I'm up in the Bay Area frequently at our corporate headquarters, which is right down there in San Francisco. So I have a couple of goals today. Yes, we will be talking about Salesforce. I do want to make sure you know who Salesforce is and know about what we do and how you might be able to be involved and how our tools actually do help many of our customers and constituents with data that help them make decisions from that data, very actionable decisions from the insights that they gather from the data. So there we go. So again, we always start our presentations at Salesforce with a big thank you. We know that your time is very, very valuable. And we thank each and every one of you for attending, whether you're a current Salesforce customer, just interested in finding out what Salesforce is about, a Salesforce user, or if you're benefiting from a support group that uses Salesforce. So thank you and welcome again. Okay, I guess my buttons are not going to work. Here we go. Let me go forward though. So Salesforce.com is the #1 CRM in the world. And we don't say that in a bragging sort of way. This is a chart that shows that Salesforce has been rated the #1 market share for CRM across the world, far eclipsing some of those companies that you probably are familiar with, like Oracle, which happens to be up in that area in the Bay Area, and Microsoft, SAP, and Adobe. So combined, we have more of a market share of CRM customers than any of those other companies. And while we are the corporate, the #1 CRM, we put a lot of weight in the values that we have established for ourselves. That's trust among ourselves, trust among our customers and constituents, customer success. We're all about making the customer a success, innovating things that help make those customers more successful, and equality for our customers, for all of our employees, for all of our partners. These are all of our core values, and they all culminate in us being the #1 CRM in the world. And we also work very, very hard at sustainability. I don't know if any of you have seen the Salesforce Tower. Paro and I were just talking about that, but it's LEED certified, which means that it is energy efficient, soup to nuts, top to bottom. And we try to make all of the buildings that we office in that way. Oh, goodness. All right. So based on all of those values, our CEO and founder, Mark Benioff, has really established our mission statement. It's doing well while we're doing good. So we are a leader in philanthropy, donating money and helping nonprofit companies. I don't know if you've all seen the Mark Benioff Children's Hospital, but he certainly helps fund that. We're a leader in equality and culture. We've been one of the Fortune 100 best companies to work for a lot of years running, and one of the best technology companies to work for a lot of years running. And all of this while we've been busy building our revenue up to, in this last fiscal year 21, up to $21 billion in revenue. Big company. I think we're 136 on the Fortune 100 list. So we're up there. So we're a CRM company here at Salesforce. And does that mean anything to anybody? Do you all know what a CRM is? It stands for customer relationship management or constituent relationship management. And the Salesforce solution is a technology, a system that manages relationships and interactions. So it helps the user stay connected with those customers. It helps streamline processes. It improves those goals, whether the goal is to have bigger profits for a company, or if that goal is to recruit or have a student have a successful outcome. So keeping that student in their course of study and completing a degree. So whatever it is, that CRM helps the users get to that end goal. It's used to manage the relationships across the entire sales cycle or across the entire life cycle of a customer. If it's a customer, maybe a buyer or a student. And I have a couple of examples of that here in just a minute. So really quickly, just kind of a one more quick synopsis of what a CRM is. It integrates all kinds of different parts of all the functional areas of a company or an institution that interact with one another. It puts all of that data in one place and allows those different functions to access the data that helps them do their function. But it's not keeping all that information siloed and away from someone who might need it. And in that way, it gives all of those folks a shared view of the customer or the student. It automates workflows. So it takes those kind of tedious things that you have to do, like click here and move it to this next function. It automates all of those workflows behind the scenes so that you are able to be more efficient while you're using the CRM. And it integrates with data from existing systems. So in an education scenario, it will integrate with a student information system or with a learning management system. It can take pieces of data out of those systems and automatically populate the CRM, because in that CRM, you need that piece of information. Hope that makes sense. So we call this really the Salesforce customer 360-degree view. So somebody from customer success is seeing information about that customer. Somebody from sales can see information about that customer. Somebody from service can log into that record and see that a customer bought it before the warranty was expired. Marketing can go in and see if their marketing campaigns are effective and make changes to that campaign so that it's more effective. So throughout the life cycle of a customer in this case, everybody that needs to see that information sees the information that is helpful for them to make decisions and to help that customer. On the student side, it takes all of these disparate functions like high school coaching and recruiting and admissions and financial aid and advising, that all used to keep all of their own information in their little database on their little laptops. And it makes it all accessible. So when you are filling out the admissions form for a school, it can automatically pull in and ask you information for financial aid. It can direct you to things that you will have to fill out for financial aid. It will allow professors or instructors to see if a student has missed several different classes and needs to be contacted to make sure that they finish their class and finish their curriculum successfully. And those insights, like seeing this information, you can see them in one-off, you can see them in reports, but putting all of this information together in dashboards. Here's an example of a student dashboard, like an admissions dashboard. And this dashboard is made up of different reports. So you can make these up on the fly. You and I could sit down, and 10 minutes later, we will have built 5 different reports on what we think is relevant to what we want to see, like how many students do we have in just the inquiry stage? How many students do we have in the applicant stage? And then we can put those different reports right into a dashboard that show us all kinds of pieces of information about our student applicants, or maybe the students that are already enrolled. So I'm looking at it, I'm using our CRM from an education standpoint to track student applicants or to track current students. But you can see how that would be really helpful, and being able to build a report like that and then put it into a dashboard so you have easy access to all those reports. And you're seeing the information just at a glance. It can give you an idea and an insight, and you can make decisions at just a glance. Then you can drill down into those reports if there's very specific information you want to see. Oops. Salesforce also has an AI, an artificial intelligence tool associated with it that's built on top of our CRM. And I don't know if you all have heard the term predictive analytics. So Salesforce Einstein is an artificial intelligence, a predictive analytics tool. So it can tell you where to focus your efforts. Like these people are going to be more likely to buy your product because they've gone into your website and looked at it 6 different times on 6 different days, and they've stayed on that website for this long. And it can help you customize your message to that customer. And if that customer feels like you are speaking directly to them, it's a very relevant message to them, they're going to feel much better about your company and your product and feel supported. And feel that experience has been personalized. And you can automate so much of this interaction. So it makes it very, very scalable. And this is just what an Einstein Analytics dashboard looks like. We also just acquired a company called Tableau, and Tableau does visualization of data. There are a lot of, during COVID, there were a lot of states that did all of their COVID vaccine and outbreaks, all of that visualization by pulling that data into Tableau and showing the charts and graphs and maps that you could drill down into for very specific information that you're concerned about. So I want to make sure that you understand how we feel about our companies. So Salesforce isn't just a business. We have been labeled an economy, the Salesforce economy, because not only do we create jobs directly by employing people at Salesforce, but we have a huge ecosystem of partners that implement Salesforce, that consult on Salesforce. We have a huge number of administrators and developers that have certifications on Salesforce. And worldwide, that has created a 9.3 million job Salesforce economy, or will by 2026 is the estimation. And I wanted to bring that up because I want you to think about the possibility of being interested in becoming what we call a Salesforce trailblazer. And I believe this is the next slide. Yeah, there we go. So a trailblazer is a pioneer, an innovator, a lifelong learner, and a mover and shaker. And we look at all of our ecosystem, all of our communities of Salesforce users and customers and instructors and admins and developers as trailblazers, because you all are making all of these good things happen. So consider the possibility of becoming a Salesforce trailblazer. And you can do that a couple of different ways. So I wanted to talk to you today about the Salesforce Trailhead platform. It is free of charge. It is online, and you can start right now. You just go to trailhead.salesforce.com, you sign up for an account, and you can do things a lot of different ways. We have curated trailheads of courses. Like if you think that you are interested enough in becoming a Salesforce CRM administrator, there are several different trailheads that are made up of a bunch of different courses that can help train you to become an administrator or a developer. Or if you just want to find out more about Salesforce and like what the heck a CRM is, or Salesforce for that matter, just in general, it's all there in online, consume as you go coursework electronically. You can work at your pace. And again, it's free of charge, and it's kind of fun. It's been gamified a little bit. You garner points and you garner little badges. And after a certain amount of badges and points, you become a Salesforce Ranger. I'm very proud to say I am a Salesforce Ranger. I'm not an administrator, though.
I have a question, Michaela.
Yes.
Does Salesforce offer any scholarships or paid internships for students?
Thank you for asking that. So we have partnered with Year Up. Very good, Amparo. We have partnered with Year Up, through which we manage all of our internship programs. So I did put Year Up on here. It's a career development nonprofit, provides an opportunity for adults, young adults, anyone who want to develop their professional skills. And so right now I am working with a Year Up intern. She's assisting my team and I on building reports and working actually in our instance of Salesforce and learning a lot about Salesforce, learning a lot about the tools, and building her resume while she's doing that. And the other thing I wanted to make sure I mentioned is that we have a number of different conferences. Amparo and I were talking just before everyone came on about our user conference called Dreamforce. And that's usually in September, sometimes November. And of course, with COVID, it has been held virtually. And when it's held virtually, it is free of charge. So you can register, view some of the breakout sessions, meet with people, talk to them about their experiences, their careers with Salesforce. It is a wonderful event. But we also have coming up the Salesforce Education Summit. It's April 20th to the 22nd. It's virtual, it's free. You can learn a lot more about careers in education and using Salesforce in education. Now, it is not a career fair. It is not, it's not a career fair, but it can give you an idea of maybe pursuing a career in education, whether as a student advisor or a counselor, maybe a recruiting specialist at schools. And it could be very worth your time to even sit in on some of the sessions. All you have to do is Google Salesforce Education Summit, and it will come up and it'll give you a save the date and a registration link. That's about it for me. I didn't want to go too long, so I hit everything I wanted to hit at a very high level. Are there any questions about Salesforce, about my career at Salesforce, what I do on a regular basis?
How did you get started?
Ooh, I'm an old gal, so it's a long story. I have always been in technology. I was active duty Air Force, and that's how I paid my way through college on an ROTC scholarship. I was a computer support officer for 10 years in the Air Force. And when I separated from the Air Force, I started working for the city of Las Vegas, still in IT, but I did a lot of things around that, a lot of peripheral projects and things even around the IT. And then I decided I wanted to get into industry. And so I started working for some software companies. And I was at Oracle, and I had the opportunity to come to Salesforce, and just felt that Salesforce Well, in short, is really where it's at. Number one, this is a cloud solution. So to deploy the solution, basically all you need is internet access. You don't have to have servers. You don't have to have network gear. So it makes this technology so much more accessible for so many. And I love the culture. It is one of doing good. And it makes me feel good that I'm working with so many people, so many institutions that are working to do so much good in the world. It makes me feel good.
Long.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Michaela, for sharing your knowledge and your story. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Amparo. Thank you for all your volunteer work. And everyone, thank you for attending this evening.